So I'm sure by now everyone understands the big news of the day is that Wizards of the Coast has decided to move Dungeons and Dragons into franchise mode. But what's really weird, and as you'll see, is that they've already been in franchise mode. In fact, they started franchise mode in the early 2020s when all the tourists started joining us in our hobby because they had nothing else to do. The original post comes from LinkedIn and from Dan Ayub, who is now the senior vice president and head of the Dungeons and Dragons franchise. And he says, and you can see it on the screen, sometimes you just roll a natural 20. I've been pretty straightforward when people ask me why I came to Wizards of the Coast Hasbro. Obviously, the challenge of building and publishing a development group was a massive draw, but it's always come down to one very clear thing: Dungeons and Dragons. More than any other game, Dungeons and Dragons has influenced my life and career the most. I got hooked when I received the basic set, and I never stopped playing. To this day, I play with the same group I played with when I was 12 years old. You know who you are. This game has forged my friendships over the years and ultimately is what got me into game development. I've loved Dungeons and Dragons since the first roll of the dice. So what happened today? We shifted our structure internally and moved to D&D to a full franchise model, meaning everything: books, video games, film, and TV. Everything touching the franchise lives under one roof. The impact here cannot be overstated. This is a massive for D&D and will allow a strong, coordinated, and well-funded approach for the franchise, and most importantly, for us, the fans. Finally, in a moment that doubtlessly has my childhood self doing cartwheels, and okay, maybe some old man cartwheels too, I've been asked to lead this new group. As of today, I'm thrilled and humbled and somewhat freaked out to be leading the Dungeons and Dragons franchise for Wizards of the Coast. I look forward to connecting with all the fans and teams as soon as possible to make the next 50 years of D&D the best ever. So, very interesting. All right, he sounds super excited. The oddity is and you'll see here, is D&D's we're going franchise mode. No, you have been in franchise mode. You sell meat sticks, which is really odd considering your core audience has a higher reputation of being vegetarians and vegans, and your meat sticks are neither of those things. They are things like camel and ostrich and deer and buffalo and elk and all sorts of exotic animal meats. You've got Funko Pops, you've got t-shirts, you've got action figures, you have backpacks, stickers, the list of bedspreads, shower curtains, the list, and these are official things. They are officially licensed logos. And they are a very litigious company. So to say that you're now in franchise mode is laughable. I think I get what he's saying. They're pulling everything in, but you have been a franchise and you have been nothing but a franchise for a very long time. You invited the tourists in, and that's where you have gotten to now, and it's reflecting in some of what's happening with you right now. Here's just some more official merchandise: just t-shirts, phone cases, pillows. It is what it is. I get it. You're going to make the most of it. But more importantly is, who is Dan Ayub? Thankfully, I have a premium account for LinkedIn, thanks to the military. So he worked at Wizards of the Coast, where he was a senior VP of digital games, the VP head of the studios. Before that, he was a board member on Games for Change. He left that. Certain Affinity, vice president and general manager. I decided to look up Certain Affinities. I don't know who the hell they are, but you all do. We just don't know who they are. This is where they are. They're Canadian based, yet they have headquarters in Austin, Texas. It's interesting. I thought we were a terrible country. Why would you want to do that? And there's their work. So this is fairly interesting of what they've had their hands in. Some really good games and some atrocious trash. Left 4 Dead, solid. People like Doom, not me. Mafia 3 I thought was actually a fun game. Crackdown 3 was dog crap. Prey, good game. Gotham Knights, New World, Hogwarts Legacy, outstanding. Unless you hate J.K. Rowling all of a sudden as a millennial, and then it was the worst game on earth. World of Tanks does quite well. Hearthstone does phenomenal. Call of Duty and Halo are both jokes of their past lives. So that's Certainty Games. Before that, he was at Microsoft as a general manager in education, 343 Studios. Before that, he was a Spark Network board member. He was a BAFTA advisory group executive with virtual reality. Before that, he was an executive producer at Ubisoft. Well, that doesn't bode well. He did 1 year there as an executive producer, which, yes, produce, it doesn't really mean much. You could literally just donate money and get your credit as an executive producer. He was a game director at Walt Disney Company for 2 years. He was a senior producer at Electronic Arts for 4 years. Just a producer in Ubisoft for 4 years. And before that, he was a project manager at the Canadian National Railway. Well. So yeah, so D&D has gone full franchise mode, at least in their heads. They're openly admitting it. Good thing, bad thing, I don't really care. I don't really play Dungeons and Dragons. A lot of people are not playing Dungeons and Dragons anymore. So I think, I don't know, they're going to be around for a long time. We have this conversation constantly. D&D's not going anywhere. It's not the 800-pound gorilla in the room. It's the ancient red Draco Lich in the room. You will never dethrone it. You're not getting rid of it. If you hate it, if you love it, it is what it is. It's on its trajectory. There are people leaving it. There are people who just do not like it anymore. They don't like the direction the company is gone. They don't like the direction Hasbro has gone. They don't like how the game is gone. Some people just don't. They find themselves out of love with the D20 model. I'm one of them. So yeah, it's really interesting to see them consolidating everything under a franchise model that, in the future, that can mean good things. That could mean, some of the TV shows they've talked about are still on. They could mean their reignition of the movie franchise, which the movie wasn't that bad. I thought the dragon part was stupid, but, that's just opinions. So, yeah, I know there's a lot they could be doing with this. The virtual tabletop, committed seppuku in its infancy. With this guy having a background in VR, it was forever ago in technical terms. But, who knows? That could be a thing too. Maybe they're going to work on some kind of VR asset at some point. Who knows? No one really knows. All we do know is that Dan Ayub's super, super excited. He might be an actual gamer. Who knows? I mean, if he goes back he got the basic set when he was 12 years old. I don't know how old he is now, because I'm not a creeper like that. But he was working at the railway at 96. So, I mean, the basic set, which basic set that, there was depending on how old he was when he got this basic set, that it's, this set is, which isn't even really the basic set. This is, that infamous basic set, but not the red box set, which I think he's talking about, but you never know. Things go all over the place. So I don't think he's not old enough for that by his photo. So maybe he meant the 4th edition basic sets. Who knows? Or he's just making it all up and he's not really a gamer or anything. So all this is just super nerdy, but he knows that we geeks spend money. But anyway, like, subscribe, put some comments below, have a conversation. I don't know where D&D is going. It's always fascinating to watch the guiding star that is Dungeons and Dragons in this hobby. If you don't believe that, man, the guiding star is not Goodman Games. It's not Troll Lord. It's not Free League. It's not any of those things. It will probably continue to always be Dungeons and Dragons. Thanks.